Before we begin this morning prayer, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. God, do what I can't today. I don't say that as a slogan, not as a mantra for lazy hope, and not to skip the weight of responsibility. I say it with the last breath of my strength. I say it as someone who's tried, who's stayed up, who's shown up, who's held it together for longer than I thought I could. I say it as someone whose bones are tired of carrying burdens that don't lighten with time, whose heart is sore from holding faith while the world around keeps shaking, whose soul is reaching for a hand I can't see because mine is slipping on everything I thought was solid. God, do what I can't today, because I've reached the edge of what's humanly possible, and I need you to take it from here. You've seen me try. You've watched me walk into rooms smiling when I wanted to crumble. You've watched me write messages I didn't know how to answer, speak calmly when my insides were storming, keep my feet moving even when there was no clear road ahead. You know how many times I've told myself, just one more hour, just until tonight, just until the weekend. But this morning, it's different. This morning, I'm not asking for an extension of strength. I'm not asking for resilience or more motivation or a sudden jolt of clarity. I'm not even asking for the plan. I'm just asking for you, the God who made the day, the one who isn't limited by time or pressure or my capacity. I'm asking for you to step into this day and hold what's too heavy for me, to carry the part I can't touch, to fix what I can't reach, to answer what I can't even phrase in words. Because here's the truth. God, I've run out of clever. I've run out of solutions. I've run out of patience to pretend I'm fine. There are places in my mind I can't organize, things I've been putting off that now stare me down with urgency, conversations I don't know how to have, responsibilities I didn't sign up for, expectations I can't meet, emotions I've kept under control that now feel like they're boiling over without warning. And through it all, I've tried to stay composed, to show faith, to be the one others can depend on. But somewhere inside I know I'm unraveling, slowly, quietly, but certainly. And it's terrifying. Not the collapse, but the slow awareness that I might not have anything left to give today, that maybe today is the day I stop managing and start depending. So I open my hands, not just symbolically, I actually open them, letting go of the clenched fists I've held in my sleep, the tight jaw, the frozen smile, the lists in my head, the pressure on my chest. I open them, God, and I say, do what I can't. Not because I want to escape, but because I want to breathe again. I want to stop pretending I'm okay and actually be okay. I want to walk into this day, not dragging 100 invisible weights behind me. I want to look at the world, not with exhaustion, but with the quiet strength of someone who knows you're carrying more than half the load. I want to trust that I'm not alone in the things I can't fix. There's something humbling about this kind of prayer, not the kind where I ask for boldness or breakthroughs, but the kind where I admit I'm at my end, that I'm out of fuel, that I don't have the insight or energy or bravery or peace to face what's ahead. But somehow, I believe that you meet people here, at the edge, not when they've conquered the mountain, but when they're too weak to climb, when they lie down and whisper, God, if you don't show up, I won't make it. That's where you come, not like a storm to overwhelm, but like a whisper that holds, like a presence that doesn't demand, just stays, that lifts from underneath when the weight is too much to hold above. So maybe I won't have an answer today. Maybe I won't feel a burst of confidence or a wave of energy. But if I know you're in the room with me, it's enough. If I know that the impossible things on my to-do list aren't mine to conquer alone, I can breathe. If I know that you are taking care of the parts I can't, the conversation I dread, the bill I can't pay, the sickness I don't understand, the person I'm trying to forgive, if I know those aren't just hanging in the air unheld, but being lifted by your unseen strength, I can keep going. Because it's not about being fearless today. It's about being willing to walk through the fear with you beside me. It's not about knowing how to solve everything. It's about trusting the one who sees the whole picture. It's not about acting strong. It's about letting you be strength where I'm weakest. So do what I can't, God. Fill the gap. Take the burden. Be the clarity, the energy, the voice, the peace, the answer, the breath. And I'll just keep showing up, even with empty hands. Even if all I bring to this day is my honesty. God, I didn't think it would be this hard to let go. Even when I say, do what I can't, there's still a part of me gripping the edge of control, as if my stubbornness can hold the pieces together a little longer. But I know what that tension does to my soul. It tightens my chest. It floods my mind. It silences the parts of me that used to be soft. So this morning, I bring you not just my weakness, but my resistance. The part of me that still believes I have to earn help. The part that struggles to trust without seeing. The part that confuses surrender with failure. Will you meet me there too, God? In that cracked, defiant place that's still learning how to rest in you. Because I want to rest, not the sleep kind. I want the kind of rest that sinks down deep, that changes how I breathe, how I respond, how I carry the unknown. I want the kind of rest that doesn't depend on results, but on your nearness. The kind of peace that doesn't come from fixing everything, but from being carried when nothing's fixed yet. You said your strength is made perfect in weakness, not in polished plans, or flawless performance, or endless optimism, but in the moment a soul says, I can't anymore. And if that's true, then this is holy ground. This exhaustion, this trembling hope, this early morning whisper that still believes you're here, even when everything inside me feels undone. So, I let it be what it is. I stop dressing it up. I stop pretending that I'm a moment away from bouncing back. Maybe I will be. Maybe I'll feel a surge of purpose by noon, but maybe I won't. And I want to believe you're present either way. That my mood isn't the measure of your presence. That my lack of progress doesn't signal your absence. That my faltering doesn't disqualify me from being held. Today might not be the day I rise. Today might just be the day I survive. The day I breathe and ask and wait and hope. The day I keep walking without knowing where the path clears. And I need you to tell me that that's okay. That you're just as close in the slow, heavy steps as you are in the moments of clarity and victory. I don't want to hide my need anymore. I don't want to silence my ache or disguise my weariness or rehearse the kind of faith that looks brave but feels brittle. I want real faith. The kind that whispers instead of roars. The kind that breaks and still believes. The kind that shows up in tears and says, God, if you're still here, I am too. I want to bring you the messy middle, the part of the story that hasn't resolved, the prayers that haven't been answered, the dreams that feel like they're outgrowing me, the responsibilities that I no longer have the strength to carry alone. And I want to place all of it in your hands. Not because I've given up, but because I finally believe you won't. Won't what? You won't leave me in this. You won't scold me for being tired. You won't shame me for struggling. You won't walk away just because I'm not the strongest version of myself today. You won't demand more than I have to give. You won't compare me to yesterday's victories or tomorrow's potential. You'll stay. You'll fill the space. You'll make the day possible. Not easy, maybe, but possible. You'll step into the empty rooms of my effort and whisper enough. Not the kind of enough that finishes every task, but the kind that says you are enough to be loved as you are. Even when I can't show up as my most confident or productive self, Even when the only thing I do today is survive it honestly, you still call that sacred. So remind me of that as I move through this day. When I feel like I'm falling behind, when I forget what I was supposed to do next, when I stumble through a conversation, when my heart gets heavy again for no clear reason. Come close. Do the part I can't. Whisper the next right thing. Shield me from what I'm not ready to face. Give me eyes to see that help is not weakness, that asking is not failure, that waiting is not wasting. Give me grace to believe that you don't just tolerate my humanity. You chose to live inside it, and that means you're not repelled by my limitations. You're right here, working inside them. Even now, you're doing what I can't. You're softening what I've hardened. You're lifting what I've dropped. You're reaching where I've run out of reach. You're speaking over the parts I've gone silent on. You're restoring what I thought was too far gone. You're pouring peace into my clenched jaw and my anxious heart and my weary spine. You're reminding me that my job isn't to fix the day. It's to trust the one who holds the whole of it. So I breathe again, maybe not deeply, maybe not easily, but I breathe, not as someone who's figured it all out, but as someone who's learning how to be held when nothing makes sense. God, I keep thinking there's going to be a moment when everything finally clicks, when the weight lifts. When I wake up and it doesn't feel like the world is already asking too much, but maybe that moment isn't what I need. Maybe what I need is to stop waiting for then and start trusting you in the now. In this exact morning, with these exact emotions, with this half-empty cup of strength, and this lingering fear that I'm not enough for the day ahead, maybe real faith isn't the feeling that everything will go smoothly. Maybe it's the raw decision to place my shaking heart into your hands again, even when it's not sure how the day will unfold, and maybe you've been waiting not for me to get stronger, but simply to be honest. So I'll start there, with honesty. I'm scared of today, God. Not in a dramatic way, but in the quiet, low-level anxiety that hums in the background of everything. The texts I haven't answered, the people I feel I'm letting down, the conversations I've been avoiding, the things I forgot to do, the things I wish I could forget, but can't. I'm tired of feeling like I'm falling behind in work, in relationships, in growth, in healing. And the worst part is that I can't even find the energy to try harder. I'm not looking for a pep talk this morning. I'm looking for a place to land, a presence that holds me before anything else is asked of me. And I believe that place is you. Do what I can't, God, because what I can't do this morning is hide the ache. I can't keep pretending that I'm unshaken. I can't keep nodding through conversations when my mind is barely present. I can't keep holding space for others when I'm running out of room inside myself. I can't find the words to reassure anyone today, not even myself. And I think you're okay with that. I think you're not asking me to rise to the occasion, but to kneel into your presence, not to impress anyone with my composure, but to be deeply, stubbornly real. So here I am, not put together, not particularly faithful feeling, not strong or wise or ready, just here. And maybe that's the most courageous thing I'll do all day. Because being here means I haven't walked away from you. It means I'm still reaching, even when it feels like my fingers are trembling in the dark. It means I'm still hoping, even if that hope feels more like a whisper than a shout. It means I haven't given up, even if I've stopped trying to pretend I've got it all handled. And I think that's where you work best, in the not enough spaces, in the gaps between what I want to be and what I am, in the silence between what I need and what I can name, in the messy, vulnerable middle, where I'm no longer performing but still showing up. Isn't that what grace means? Not that I'm always okay, but that I'm always loved, even when I'm not. So, God, do what I can't. Bring light to the parts of this day I dread facing. Soften the conversations I've been anxious about. Give clarity where I feel fog. Slow down the hours so I don't rush past what matters. Hold my emotions gently, not to erase them, but to carry them with me. Give me the strength to be present, not perfect. Help me move with a heart that isn't afraid of being seen as fragile. Help me trust that you're not frustrated with my slowness, but tender toward my honesty. And when I hit the walls again, when the fatigue creeps back or the fear returns, or the disappointment stings, remind me that you haven't changed. You're still in it, still working, still able. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the weight itself, it's believing that I'm allowed to let you carry it, that I don't need to keep reproving my worth through struggle, that I don't need to reach a breaking point to deserve your help, that I can ask now, at the beginning of the day, before I've failed, before I've fallen apart, and you'll still meet me, not with judgment, not with distance, but with hands already stretched toward mine. That's what I long for, God, not just relief from today, but a relationship in it, where to walk through this day without feeling like I'm the only one holding everything together. A sense of being companioned, not just rescued, loved, not just corrected, seen, not just managed. So even if nothing external changes, change how I experience it. Change how I carry the hours. Change how I talk to myself. Change how I remember you, not as a distant rescuer, but as the God who sits beside me in the ordinary and says, "You're not doing this alone." Give me eyes to see small moments of grace, the quiet voice that calms me, the unexpected kindness that lightens the mood, the breath I didn't know I needed. Let those be the reminders that you're doing what I can't, even when I'm too weary to recognize it, that you're moving in ways deeper than I can plan, that you're giving me back my peace, not as a reward, but as a promise. God, do what I can't, even in the places I don't know I need you yet, because there are corners in my heart I haven't looked at in a while, feelings I've muted so I could keep functioning, wounds I've ignored because there wasn't time to bleed, memories I've pressed flat and tucked away like fragile letters I wasn't ready to read, and maybe that's why some days feel so heavy for no clear reason. Maybe I'm carrying more than I remember. Maybe it's not just today's weight, but years of silence, tiny buried griefs, and choices I made to survive. So if there's healing I'm overdue for, if there's a release that's waiting in the dark, if there's a tenderness you want to awaken in me, come gently, God. I don't need the flood, I just need the touch of your presence in the places I've left unspoken. You've never rushed me, and I don't expect you to start now, so I'm not asking for every burden to vanish before noon, or for every ache to make sense by nightfall. I'm asking for a shift, for something beneath the surface to soften, for a thought to move differently, for a breath to land a little deeper, for a moment of honesty with myself to feel safe again. Sometimes the most radical thing you do isn't a miracle, it's a quiet reversal of despair, a slow restoration of self-worth, a sacred unlearning of shame. And if that's the kind of work you want to do in me today, then I say yes, even if I don't understand it, even if it takes longer than I thought, even if it happens while I'm doing the dishes, or driving, or staring out the window. Yes, to the slow kind of grace. Yes, to the strength that doesn't look like strength. Yes, to being changed without even realizing it in the moment, because you are the God of hidden things. And I think that's why I trust you with mine. You don't ask me to drag them into the spotlight before you love me. You don't require a speech. You just sit with me. You move beneath the surface of my defenses. You're not threatened by my confusion, or by my lack of words, or by the fact that my prayers are quieter than they used to be. You don't need volume. You need surrender. So here it is again. Not with fanfare, just with openness. just with the humble ache of someone who wants to be real again, who's tired of strong performances and longs for honest presence, who's willing to fall apart in your hands because those are the only hands that know how to rebuild with mercy. So, if all I do today is stay open, let it be enough. If all I manage is showing up with a soft heart instead of a strategic plan, let it be sacred. If I don't push the boulder up the hill but I choose not to curse it, let that count as worship. Because you see what no one else does. You see the invisible choices. You see the uncelebrated restraint. You see the silent prayers behind the forced smile. You see the way I turn my face to you in the quiet and say, still here, still trusting, still trying. That has to be enough. And if it is for you, maybe it can be for me too. Do what I can't, God, not just in my schedule or responsibilities, but in my self-perception. Help me believe I'm not falling short just because I'm not performing like I used to. Help me remember that gentleness is strength, that kindness to myself is not laziness, that rest is not weakness, that trust is a kind of action even when I'm not moving fast. And when the voice of shame creeps in, when it tells me I should be more by now, should be better, should be braver, let me hear your voice louder. The voice that says I'm loved here, not when I've improved, not when I've finished the list. Now, before the fixing, before the winning, before the clarity. Now, if today is messy, be in the mess. If today is slow, be in the slowness. If today is heavy, be the arms that carry me through it. I don't need fireworks to know you're here. I don't need answers to believe you're working. I just need to know you won't leave. That's what keeps me going. Not the illusion of control, but the truth of your companionship. You were so quiet and steady and unfailing. You walking with me into rooms I'm scared to enter. You staying up with me when my mind won't rest. You holding the part of me that's too tired to ask for help out loud. You already ahead of me in the day, already inside the things I'm dreading, already loving the version of me I haven't seen yet. So whatever I forget today, let me remember this. I'm not alone. Not in the confusion, not in the fatigue, not in the in-between, not in the moments that feel like they'll never end, not in the waiting, not in the failing, not in the trying again. I am never alone, and if I'm not alone, then I'm not lost. I'm not forgotten. I'm not abandoned. I'm not too far gone. I am held, carried, and covered. And if that's all I can believe today, that's enough. Because it means you'll do what I can't, and you'll keep doing it. Not once, not occasionally, but faithfully, day after day, until I can breathe again. God, I've come to the end of this prayer, not with closure, but with a deeper kind of opening. Not with all the strength I hoped for, but with a quiet surrender that feels more honest than anything I've offered you in days. And maybe that's what you were after all along. Not my resolve, not my speed, not even my breakthroughs, but my trust. And if trust means saying, God, I can't, and still walking forward because I believe you can, then I choose that again, right here, in the stillness before this day unfolds. There's so much I won't control today. So many variables, so many responses I can't predict. Deadlines I can't move, pressures I can't stop, and expectations I may never fully meet. But you never asked me to control any of that. You never said, handle it all, and then I'll show up. You said, come to me. You said, cast your cares. You said, I will go with you. So that's what I'm holding on to, not a guarantee that everything will go well, but a promise that I won't face any of it alone. A promise that whatever I meet today, you'll meet it too. That whatever I lift, you'll lift it with me. That when I pause to breathe, you'll be the air. That when I run out of words, you'll still understand the silence. that when I fall short, and I will, you'll still call me worthy of love. I don't need everything to change today. I need to remember you are with me in the unchanged. I need to know that my weakness doesn't disqualify me. It draws you near. That the places I can't reach are the very places you begin. That what's too much for me is not too much for you. So God, take it. Not symbolically, not poetically, actually. Take the weight I've been carrying in my mind and body. Take the responsibility I was never meant to bear alone. Take the pressure I've swallowed so often it feels like part of me now. Take the impossible parts of this day, the ones that make my stomach tighten and my breath shorten, and hold them in your hands instead of mine. And in return, give me what only you can. Not a plan, but peace. Not more strength to push harder, but permission to move gently. Not a perfect strategy, but a steady heart. Not the applause of others, but the deep, still assurance that I am already enough in your eyes. Give me the courage to rest, even if things are unfinished. Give me the grace to say no, even if it disappoints someone. Give me the clarity to name what I need, even if I can't provide it myself. Give me the softness to be kind to myself, especially when I fail. Give me the freedom to live today as loved, not as evaluated. And God, do what I can't, not just for me, but for the people I love who are struggling too. For the one who's pretending to be okay. For the one who's grieving what no one else sees. For the one who's drowning in quiet. For the one who's still waiting on the answer they prayed for months ago. For the one who can't tell anyone how tired they really are. Step into their day like you're stepping into mine, not with noise, not with spectacle, but with that unmistakable peace that says, you're not alone. I'm doing what you can't. Because if you are this present in my pain, you'll be just as present in my healing. If you are near to my weakness, you'll be near to my rising. If you carry what I can't today, I will be stronger tomorrow. Not because I forced it, but because you built strength inside the very places I wanted to hide. That's the kind of growth I trust, the kind you cultivate when I stop trying to impress you and start letting you be God. I don't need to prove I'm capable. I need to remember you're not limited by my limits. And when I finally believe that, something shifts, not outside me but within. The burden may not change shape, but the person carrying it is no longer alone. So this morning, as the sun climbs into the sky, and the world begins asking again for everything I have, I breathe differently. I breathed like someone who's not doing this day solo. I breathed like someone who's covered. I breathed like someone who has a helper, not a taskmaster, a shepherd, not a critic, a father, not a judge. I breathed like someone who still doesn't know how today will go, but who knows who's walking through it beside me. And somehow that's enough, more than enough. So thank you for this morning, for this breath, for not needing me to be the answer, for being willing to be enough when I'm not, for doing what I can't again and again with more tenderness than I dared to ask for. You are God, and you are kind, and you are here. That's all I need today.